What is up YouTube, and welcome to this Umbrella Academy video where we will be having a recap about what happened in Umbrella Academy Season 1 before Season 2 drops this week. Now, if you're like me and forget what you've had for dinner, let alone what happened in a TV show a year ago, then stick around. We will be breaking it all down because that season was pretty crazy. So before we dive in, please do consider dropping a like if you enjoyed the video, and do subscribe with notifications on if you want more from us. So we start off in 1989, and 43 women around the world all gave birth at exactly the same time, despite having no signs of pregnancy. Now, someone called Sir Reginald Hargreeves, a billionaire, adopts 7 of these 43 children and trains them to be a team of superheroes called the Umbrella Academy, and they all started to manifest powers. The team became famous and had a lot of fans. Despite Reginald only referring to them as their numbers, they do have real names. Number 1, Luther, has super strength. Number 2, Diego, can throw objects with deadly accuracy. Number 3, Allison, can control minds by uttering a phrase. Number 4, Klaus, can communicate with the dead. Number 5, who has no other name, can teleport through time and space. And number 6, Ben, can unleash tentacles horrors from his body. Now, there is one other who was called Vanya, and she has not a single power. This leaves her isolated and alone, and she is left out from the entire team. Over time, the team breaks up, and later Ben is killed on a mission, and number 5 goes missing. Klaus becomes a drug addict, and similar to Hill House, Vanya writes a tell-all book exposing her life in the Umbrella Academy and how bad it actually was. This causes a huge rift within the team. Now, a lot of time passes and the team come together as Reginald has sadly died, and suddenly number 5 appears after being missing from years. He has been trapped in a desolate, apocalyptic future for decades, as his teleportation went completely wrong. He quickly reverts to the body of a 13-year-old, despite actually being 58. He then goes to a donut shop and is ambushed by masked assassins. He then flees to Vanya's flat, where he explains the world is going to end in 8 days. But she believes him to be absolutely insane, a byproduct of the whole time travel going wrong. Now, Vanya carries on her life of being a talented violinist, something she learnt while her siblings were actually on missions, and takes on a student called Leonard, who actually becomes obsessed with her. He is very, very important to the story. Number 5 then turns to Klaus to help him, and he actually says that he needs to find a prosthetic fake eyeball, which he found in the future. He believes the owner of this eyeball is the person who will cause the apocalypse, but it absolutely hasn't been made yet. Now, Allison wants to find out what happened to their adoptive father, and looking through the surveillance cameras, she spots that their robot mother was poisoning Reginald and passes this information on to the rest of the team. We also learn that number 5's pursuers are Hazel and Cha-Cha. They look for number 5 at the donut shop, and they find an umbrella tattoo on the owner Agnes, and they go straight to the Umbrella Academy mansion, and a huge firefight happens, leading them to actually kidnap Klaus. Diego decides to shut down their robot mother, while Hazel and Cha-Cha torture poor old junkie Klaus to find out where exactly 5 has gone. He tells them about the fake eye, and they then go to burn down the lab where it was created, but it hasn't been made yet. Now, Klaus is actually found by Diego's ex, Eudora Patch. Eudora Patch is a police detective, and she actually sets Klaus free, and he steals their captor's briefcase. The detective is then sadly killed by Cha-Cha. Klaus gets on the bus and opens a briefcase which is actually a time machine. He is then sent right back to the Vietnam War. There is an entire subplot where he falls in love with a fellow soldier called Dave, who then is killed in action, which is an absolute hit to Klaus, and he never really recovers from this. It's a very traumatic experience for him. Now, 5 in the future was actually approached in the future apocalyptic wasteland by someone called the Handler, and the Handler works for what is known as the Commission. This Commission goes through time assassinating people so the timeline is preserved and intact. He accepts a job with them so he can escape his future isolation. Now, 5 actually betrays them when he finds out how to get back to the present. This whole involves him working there and becoming an absolute legend within the Commission. Now, while in the present, he tries to stop the apocalypse. However, this is why he is targeted for death, because it must actually happen. Now, he later accepts a position again, so long as his family are not actually killed. However, not one to be played, he uses this plan to find out what is coming and intercepts a message to protect someone called Harold Jenkins. He also sends orders to Hazel and Cha-Cha to kill one another, and they're all kept secret. Meanwhile, Vanya and Leonard become an item and get closer and closer. However, Allison is worried, and Vanya has not actually been taking her medication, her psychiatric medication, and she finally managed to get powers after all these years. Number 5 returns and gets his siblings to help find Harold Jenkins. This is the person who would be the cause of the apocalypse. Klaus sees a vision of his father telling him that he hasn't started to use his powers fully yet, but that will come into play later. Leonard is attacked as Vanya unleashes her powers, killing all but one of their attackers. And Leonard loses a right eye, just the prosthetic eye from the future. And Allison learns that Leonard is in fact Harold Jenkins, the same Harold Jenkins who was a fanboy of the Umbrella Academy and so desperately wanted to join them to escape a life of an abusive father and have some purpose in this world. Now, Vanya becomes angry at the way she's always been isolated. However, she will become angrier with the big reveal from Allison, who tells Vanya that Reginald told her to use her own powers to convince Vanya that she was actually powerless because he perceived her to be a great threat. And how right he actually was. Vanya actually almost kills her sister by slitting her throat, and Allison is actually found. However, she cannot speak and writes a message stating that Vanya actually has powers. Meanwhile, as well, in a subplot, Hazel falls in love with Agnes, the donut shop owner, and they actually try to run off together to escape the Commission. However, Cha-Cha tracks them down and Hazel saves the day. Vanya then learns that Harold has been using her all this time just to get to the Academy, as he is such a fanboy, and she kills him, but she's captured by the Umbrella Academy. However, she escapes because she's so powerful, destroys the mansion, and her powers are fully realised now as she heads to a recital and uses the instrument to channel her powers in an amazing end few scenes. The Academy unite, but Allison creeps up behind Vanya and makes her lose concentration, just as a beam of energy shoots out of Vanya and hits the moon. The moon breaks up with meteors threatening the Earth. Now, with seconds before the apocalypse, number 5 suggests going back in time to try and do it all over again and save the world, which they do, and then we head into season 2. However, that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed that. I will be bringing you a breakdown, review, and Easter eggs of Umbrella Academy season 2 when it drops. So please do watch this space, drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe with notifications on so you never miss a video. And I will see you soon, and goodbye.